Hi, it's Maxine Kaye from the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living, bringing you another love note, but without yoga on my lap tonight, because she was on my lap and she decided she'd much rather, well, there she is. She'd much rather just wander around tonight. That's fine. She has sovereignty, as we all do, and that's what she decided she'd prefer to do tonight. It's been very warm here, but oh my goodness, thank goodness, not as warm as the folks who've really been suffering on the west coast of our country. All this warming, this drastic changes in our weather conditions is something that we need to continue to be wise about and address in a way where we're raising our consciousness and understanding that it is a circumstance that's been brought about because of some wrong thinking, some wrong behavior, some wrong actions. And we can still do something about it. And that means, first of all, not being angry about it, not being afraid of it, but just standing in our truth and knowing that things can change because everything begins in mind. And we begin in mind by deciding that we are ready to do our part, that we can step up and make a difference in our environment by beginning, of course, in our consciousness. Many of you are familiar with Don Miguel Ruiz's beautiful book, The Four Agreements. And in our community, in our spiritual community, and in our personal lives, we do our best to live those four agreements. Don't take anything personally, always be impeccable with your word, always do your best, and don't make assumptions. That's not the right order, but it doesn't matter what order we take them in. The important thing is that we do our best to focus on actually living these four agreements. And the truth is, if indeed I am impeccable with my word, that means I'm not only going to be telling the truth, but I'm going to be stating things clearly. I'm going to be actual and factual, and I'm going to be authentic with what I say and what I do, of course. And if indeed I intend and do my best to not to make assumptions, then that opens up a whole lot of possibility for me. It gives me a great deal of freedom because I'm not going to jump to conclusions. I am not going to make something up in my head about what I think somebody said or meant or what to expect. I'm going to invite some understanding and move to a different place with it. If indeed I am not going to be taking things personally, that's a big one, isn't it? I think we'll talk a little bit more about that this evening. But if I choose not to take things personally, oh my goodness, there's a lot of sweet freedom in that for me. And I'll say more about that in a moment. And then of course the fourth agreement is always do your best. You know, we don't want to be so heavy with these that we think, oh, I didn't do this or I did that today. I did my best every day, do my best. Put my head down on the pillow knowing I did my best, now I can rest, right? That's a good way to begin, to end the day. Well, let me talk a little bit more about not taking things personally. It's difficult, isn't it, sometimes, not to take things personally. And here again, we're slipping in that one about making assumptions. We're assuming that whatever is going on with another person has something to do with us. It probably does not. You know, it probably does not. And that's a good place to begin, isn't it? Now, if I am taking something personally, I am believing that, let's get to an extreme. Somebody's out to get me, you know, that another person is not being thoughtful about my needs and wants, and neither of those things are probably true at all. So it's a very wonderful thing to realize that I have the freedom to appreciate other people, to respect where they may be, to give them the benefit of the doubt, and to stay within my own peace and my own sweet freedom, knowing that I'm responsible for myself. Hello, yoga. And that I'm not taking it personally that yoga didn't want to sit on my lap tonight, you know. She has a right to wander around. She has the right to go back to her food bowl and her water bowl and have a little nibble or have a little sip if she wants to. Let's give people some more freedom to be who they are and not expect it always to be all about us, right? You ever get to that place where it's like all about me, you know, like that, the Hollywood actor who was driving around in his beautiful convertible with a little starlet who was all moony-eyed, and he was speaking to her about his life history, about all the roles he played, and how popular he was, and how he was invited to all the A-list parties, and he went on, and she's looking at him, and finally he says, "Oh, enough about me. What do you think of me?" You know? Let's kind of get out of ourselves a little bit. Let's realize that sure, we all have an ego, and it's an important thing to build that ego strength so that we know who we are in this world. But it's more important to build the spiritual muscle so we know who we are authentically and eternally, not just at this moment, at this point, at this place, in this world. So I love the idea and I love the practice of realizing that we all have the freedom to be who we are. That each one of us has the responsibility to live our lives as sweetly, as deeply, as consciously, as compassionately, and as wisely as possible. And it really has little or nothing to do with anyone else or their opinion of us. Isn't it nice to know that what you think of me is none of my business? And yes, it was Terry Cole Whitaker who wrote that book, but years before that, my beloved teacher, Barney Earl D. Barnum, used to tell us that in class. Something to think about. No, you know, that what you think of me is none of my business. In other words, I'm not going to take it personally, especially since I really don't know what's going on in your mind, do I? I really don't know what has taken place in the life of someone else to make them a little edgy or a little distant. I don't know that. But can't I be a little bit compassionate about it? And most of all, can I refuse to think that I have anything to do with it? I like living my life fully and completely. I like living it and expressing myself out loud. That doesn't mean, you know, loud. It just means true, being authentic to who I am. So if you have some thoughts about how you manage not to take things personally, or what this means to you, or what it may spark in you, give me a little comment. You know, let's have a conversation about it. I'd much rather have a conversation than a monologue. Let's talk. Okay? So tomorrow, Reverend Mike will be bringing you another love note. Last Sunday we had a phenomenal opening day where we swung wide the doors, and at our beautiful facility at 16 Industrial Boulevard, Suite 112 in Paola, Pennsylvania, we had a live congregation. Our beloved community came together. We had a wonderful love fest. It was a love fest. And we're continuing, of course, the hybrid. We're doing the live streaming. We have new cameras set up. So our wonderful Jeff Maxine, who is our producer, can show you the whole sanctuary and how we have things set up right now. It was such a joy. So if you're in the area, come on down this Sunday, because we're going to continue to meet in this way. If you're not in the area, continue to tune in, cslphilly.org, and click on that live stream button, not only at 10:30 Sunday morning Eastern Daylight Time, but anytime. You know, if you can't sleep in the middle of the night, get up and push that live stream. You'll go right to sleep. Or maybe it'll give you something to think about and have some nice dreams about. So I am grateful that we had this little time together. Oh, I'm also so deeply grateful for all the contributions you've continued to make over these last 15 months online. And you have an opportunity to do that on our website as well. Just select the donate button. It makes it so easy. We'll see you very soon. We love you. Stay tuned. Bye for now.